In an extraordinary twist of nature, something remarkable has taken place. The mighty giants that once defined the story of life on Earth, creatures whose immense forms shaped landscapes, whose voices echoed across oceans and plains, have grown impossibly small. Their grandeur remains, their essence unchanged, but their bodies now exist in miniature. What was once immense is now delicate. What once loomed large is now easily overlooked. And yet, their survival continues, as if nature herself has written a new chapter in the book of life. The elephant. For countless generations, it has been the towering monarch of the plains, the very embodiment of strength, wisdom, and memory. With ears like sails and tusks like ivory spears, it stood as a living fortress against predators and drought alike. Every step once thundered across the earth, shaking the ground and leaving deep impressions in the dust. But now the elephant is no larger than a common house cat. It pads softly along winding trails, its footsteps barely disturbing the soil. Its tusks, once fearsome and majestic, are no bigger than the thorns of a rose. The grasses rise above it like a forest canopy, offering shade and shelter where once whole acacia groves were needed. And yet, even in this fragile form, the elephant's wise gaze and gentle sway remain unmistakable. A creature of memory and majesty, now able to fit within the cradle of human hands. And then, the whale, the colossal blue whale, the largest creature to ever exist upon this planet. Longer than any dinosaur, heavier than any beast that has walked the earth. Once, it commanded the great oceans, its immense fluke sending ripples across miles of open sea. Its voice, a deep, resonant call, traveled farther than any other sound made by life. Today, impossibly, that titan drifts within the fragile circle of a porcelain bowl. The oceans, once endless, have been distilled into a handful of water. The Leviathan, once a force of immeasurable scale, now swims gently like a goldfish. Its miniature tail moves with calm precision, as if unaware of its transformation. And yet, though diminished, its grandeur lingers. The whale still carries the dignity of a monarch at sea, only now its sea rests quietly upon a kitchen table. One cannot help but marvel and mourn at such a sight, the greatest giant of Earth's history, rendered delicate enough to slip between our fingers. The giraffe, too, has been transformed. Once, it lifted its head skyward, its neck a living tower rising toward the heavens. It grazed on treetops others could never reach, its vantage point a lookout above lions and elephants, across the wide golden savanna. But now the giraffe bows its head not to the tall acacia, but to the level of ordinary blossoms. A daisy, once beneath its notice, now serves as a banquet. Petals become forests. A single sunflower is an entire grove. Butterflies hover beside them, wings brushing against their patterned hides, companions at equal scale. And so the giraffe, reduced in size yet not in grace, finds its world remade. Its long neck remains an instrument of elegance. But instead of piercing the sky, it dips into the quiet intimacy of a flower bed. There are few creatures more formidable than the rhinoceros. Its horn, once a weapon of defense and dominance, could deter even the bravest predator. Its bulk, encased in thick folds of armor, like skin, made it one of the true titans of the grasslands. The hippopotamus, too, once ruled the rivers with a force that few dared challenge. But here, in this strange new scale, both appear as fragile figurines, no larger than the palm of a hand. Their horns are as delicate as rose thorns, their wide backs scarcely broader than a coin. They wander carefully through blades of grass that tower above them like ancient forests. To an ant, they are neighbors. To a beetle, they are rivals in size. Their thunder has been silenced, their charge reduced to a gentle shuffle across the earth. Yet still, within them, lingers the soul of a titan. They remind us that power is not always measured in size, but in spirit. And then we come to the most astonishing vision of all. The dinosaurs. For over 150 million years, they reigned as the undisputed rulers of the earth. Colossal plant eaters towered like walking mountains. Ferocious predators shook the ground as they hunted. Their shadows stretched for miles. Today, in this imagined transformation, they are reborn not as giants, but as sparrow-sized wonders. The Tyrannosaurus rex, once feared by all, now perches upon a branch, fluttering lightly from tree to tree. Its roar has softened to a chirp. A triceratops, no bigger than a beetle, stumbles between roots and stones. Its horns, once fearsome lances, barely sharp enough to pierce a leaf. The sauropods, whose necks once swept above the forests, now weave delicately through moss and lichen, no taller than blades of grass. The age of dinosaurs would still exist, but in this new age, their might would be measured not in mass, but in miniature. And so, humanity, once humbled by the scale of nature, finds itself towering above all. We walk among elephants the size of kittens, whales the size of goldfish, and dinosaurs no bigger than sparrows. Our shadows stretch across them like clouds. Where once we lived in awe of their size and power, now we hold them in our hands. Yet this shift brings with it a new burden. For though they are small, they remain living, breathing wonders. Their fragility is immense. A careless step could mean an extinction. A single hand could wipe away what millennia of evolution crafted. We have become not only giants, but guardians, keepers of a world more delicate than ever before. The zoos of our world, too, are transformed. Once vast sanctuaries echoing with trumpets and roars, they now resemble cabinets of curiosities. Glass cases hold herds of elephants smaller than mice. Tiny rhinos graze beside beetles. Whales circle endlessly in bowls no larger than a child's toy. Visitors peer close, pressing their faces against the glass to glimpse a universe of miniature marvels. The calls of great beasts no longer rumble through the air. Instead, the zoo hums with subtler sounds, the flutter of wings, the delicate scurry of feet, the softest of trumpets barely louder than a whisper. Humanity marvels not at power, but at fragility. For the greatest giants of Earth's history are now displayed as though they were precious jewels. Small, intricate, and irreplaceable. And so, Earth itself is reimagined. A world once ruled by giants is now a kingdom of delicacy. Oceans have become puddles. Grasslands have become forests. Creatures that once filled our imaginations with awe now invite us to kneel closer, to see them in their tiniest details. The transformation compels us to ask, what truly defines greatness? Is it sheer size and power? Or is it the persistence of life adapting in any form it takes? In their miniature bodies, the giants remind us that the essence of life does not diminish when its form does. In fact, perhaps it grows. For to see the mighty reduced, yet still enduring, is to understand that strength lies not in scale, but in survival, in beauty, and in the ceaseless rhythm of life. The earth, reshaped and rescaled, remains a kingdom of wonders, but it is also more fragile than ever. For now, it is small enough for us to hold and small enough for us to lose. The responsibility lies with us, to marvel, to protect, and to remember that the giants of our world, whether vast or minute, are threads in the great tapestry of life. And in their survival, we see our own.